shoes at Bush the other day. That kind of signifies where we're at.
That's right. Yeah, but wait, let me cut you off. You're very wise in this, but do you believe in the conspiracy theories?
I'm sorry, I can't.
Do you believe in Illuminati and other conspiracy theories?
Well, see, conspiracy theories are based on a certain element of truth. And you have to understand that no one's sitting in a big room deciding these things. They say that there are people like the Rosicrucians and the Knights of Templar, and there are other, forms of the Vatican and X, Y, and Z that have all of this information. I don't know of the validity of the story that has come through as to how it's almost like the Wizard of Oz. There's a guy in the background that says they're wielding so much power because of the truth that they have, but as your guest stated, the Egyptians had already signified this data, the scientific data that they work off of, and they're basing a lot of their backwards scientific methods off now. So it's just a matter of them having this purpose to do this is to matter-of-factly control the population, because that's what they need to do.
That's fair enough. Thank you. She's a very wise lady. But the bottom line, they are conspiracy theories, and they are evil people.
Oh, yeah, that all about too. It's just like the idea of the war. I mean, the two powerful lobbies in this country are oil and banking. Mm-hmm. The families that control oil and banking. Everybody went out, and I don't demonstrate. People went out and said, "We won't stop the war." I said, "You're not going to stop jack." Go out there, 50 million people went out there. They went to war. See, everybody talked about, we are not going to, the $700 billion, we don't want the congressmen to do. We ain't. I said, they're going to do it, and if they don't, they're going to crash the system and make you do it, because if they crash the system, you got your 401k, your IRAs, and your pension. And if it falls in half, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to shout, give them what they want, because I don't want to lose what I got.
But let me just say, let me go back to the bare knuckle stuff. I don't believe the average person in America understands the Federal Reserve. This is the core understanding of all the conspiracy theories. You start from this notion. The Federal Reserve is not part of the federal government.
It never has been a part of the government. And they have the ability to create money and credit. That's why you have in your wallet, you don't have a treasury bill, you have a Federal Reserve note. That is a private bank, and is a bank of cartels. All the banks, it's like Bank of America had shares in there. J.P. Morgan has shares in Federal Reserve. All your large banks have shares in the Federal Reserve Bank. So when they got in trouble, they bailed them out first.
Of course, and people, you understand, where does the Federal Reserve get their money from?
Well, part of the money comes from the federal government, but basically they create money out of nothing. Just by, it's like you have an IOU and you write IOUs. You ain't got a nickel in the bank, but everybody accepts them as real. When really, there's nothing to back it. They charge interest on top of that.
And that's the whole key. The money, a lot of the money comes out of thin air, because they say, let the free market capitalism work. Free market capitalism. But where does the capital come from? You know what I'm saying?
Well, the point is, people don't understand. It's a simple term called fractional reserve banking. You'll probably hear it sometime. And what that means, you take the average bank. The average bank, if you put $10 million in the bank, you presuppose the bank can only lend $10 million. But they have a leverage principle. A bank that has $10 million can create $100 to $150 million of loans.
Okay, that's high finance, sir. You're over my head.
So in other words,
wow.
with the $10 million, they actually able to create another $100 million above and beyond the initial $10 million.
But where did the money come from?
It's from a screen. They created out of nothing.
Created out of nothing.
Right.
So that's why people say the only way that America's going to come out of this depression is that the Federal Reserve just has to continue to print money out of thin air.
And what that means, if they continue to do that, that means the money in your pocket becomes worthless.
Of course, that's the downside, because if they print more money, the dollar becomes worthless.
For instance, we told people about 4 or 5 years ago to buy gold and silver. We said, wait a minute. I'm going to tell you, you're going to go to these stores. At that time, you had certain breads like, you just take a loaf of bread, or good whole wheat bread. We're selling for about $2.50. Now you go into a store and try to buy a whole wheat bread. Whole wheat, I'm talking about 100%, it's $5.
I know.
And they ain't joking. Eggs is $3 a dozen.
But see, and
milk is $4 a gallon. And folks say, they don't get it.
And all the people that believe in the conspiracy theories, they think the Amero is going to come and they're gonna crash the dollar, take away all your dollars, and give you an Amero.
Well, the whole problem with that is simply that people will not, once they destroy, for instance, you are friends, and I break your trust, it's hard as hell for you to trust me ever again, especially when it's dealing with money and stuff.
Ever.
Well, that's the same way with the government. If this dollar falls, there's no way in the world that they can replace it with another currency without it being backed by some gold or silver. People say, well, listen, I'm not going to put my savings back in all this new currency. I lost here. You think I'm a bigger fool to do it twice?
No, we in a huge mess, but before I take another phone call, are we going to get out of this?
Well, the only way that they can get out of it is declare some type of jubilee. And clear the debt off. You got derivatives out there of roughly a 1 trillion. They got debt or derivative instruments out there to give you an example of what I mean by derivative. The General Motors bonds, you can buy insurance on General Motors bonds, and there's $1 trillion of insurance on General Motors bonds. So the General Motors bonds go back, you got all these derivatives that's going to pop at the same time, so you got one hell of a mess, as the last speaker pointed talked about. You got so much deregulation that the thing is wild, wild west. Listen, those people have to have, first of all, if you have that type of leverage for a bank at the average, for every dollar they can lend out 15, you got to have some rules and regulation on it. Well, they went to 30 times or 40 times. So the whole damn thing just blew up on them, and everybody's wondering why banks don't trust one another, why you can't go in and get a loan, because banks are holding on to their money.
Because they afraid they ain't going to get it.
That's right.
And the number one reason why they ain't going to get it, because they know the folks ain't, the common man ain't got no more money.
He ain't got no more money.
Because what he had was credit, and them credit, I heard today on CNBC that it's like 75% of all the credit cards are actually owned and run by like 5 banks.
That's it. It's all families.
Meaning they can just break you whenever they say it's over.
It's over.
Kneel.
That's it.
Because they said 5 or 6 banks control all the credit cards.
That's it.
Like I was telling my children, I got a credit card. I may have $10,000, $20,000 worth of credit cards in my pocket, but I don't mean I'll max them out.
That's it.
But a lot of folks are maxed out.
They're all maxed out.
And they at the mercy of their credit card people.
They're at the mercy of the
credit
card.
They're at the mercy because they gonna pay it.
Oh, they're going to pay it or else. Or else, if we go into a 25, 35% type of depression, they'll have a problem. The credit card people have a problem. They just have to write that stuff off. And basically what you're going to have somewhere down the line, they will try to wipe off a lot of this debt and try to get the consumer back into buying again.
But it could take 10 years. And maybe a World War...
Well, yeah, maybe a World War...
Or maybe a World War III to do this.
Well, I tell you this, you're right about that.
It may take that because I'm going to take a phone call. I didn't want to go into this to the end of the show, but let me just flow into it. Do you think that since when President President-elect Obama becomes president, that's when Israel will go into Iran to take out their nukes?
I think if they do that, then we open up. Then it's a free for all. I think that it's not something to be played with lightly.
Because everybody said they don't want Iran to get nukes. Because they will be the power in that region if they get nukes.
I don't so much agree with that. I understand the United States has its hegemony and dominance. I say this: give them 3 nukes. I'd give Iran 4 nukes and say listen, Israel got 5. So if you decide to send 2 nukes over there, you history. Now anybody's a fool. If you only got 4 bullets, you're not gonna go get somebody's got 1,000.
But I don't think ahead of us. I don't think
he's not that insane.
Yeah, in fact, Ahmadinejad, I can't even say his name. He's not going to be there much longer. He'll be out in about 6 months of the year. He'll be gone. They'll replace him with somebody else. But the bottom line is, it's Iran wants power. They are the big dog in the region. We know that, especially if they get the nukes. But the point, it's not in their best interest to blow up Israel because it's mutual annihilation.
That's that's the whole point. It's initial annihilation, and it's over with for them. I mean, I understand the Persian mindset. That Persians were,
they want power. They want to be. Everybody wants to be loved. They want to be recognized. So you give them a little recognition. You work it out and say, if you go any further, we got a nuke. We just both gonna get blowed up. This is stupid, people.
That's it.
This is stupid, but it could happen.
Oh, I wouldn't put it, but listen, men are mad, and you have a situation that arises where things can get really out of hand, especially in the mismatch. See, Iran has basically been, its economy has been mismatched. Those mullahs came in teaching a theocracy, that's a religion. They don't have, listen, how can a country that rich not have a gas refinery? They import gasoline. That's the dumbest thing I've ever had.
A caller, you're on Viewpoint Live. Sorry to hold you up.
Yeah, I'm on Viewpoint. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Hello?
Can I hear? Can you hear?